The Kaesong Industrial Complex. It started as a joint economic initiative of the two Koreas building a bridge toward unification, a once seemingly elusive goal. Unfortunately, it did not last very long. More than a year since its closure, our Lee Un-shin follows up on the damages caused as well as the Moon administration's approach to the issue.
Just across the border that divides the two Koreas is a factory town where South Korean firms used to make goods using North Korean labor. But the Kaesong Industrial Complex today is a virtual ghost town. Amid increasing provocations from Pyongyang, Seoul decided to pull the plug on the project more than a decade old in February last year. And just like that, the North lost one of the cornerstones of its gradual reforms toward a market economy. But the damage went both ways.
Due to the sudden shutdown of the complex last year, a number of South Korean companies had to open factories in Southeast Asia, like in Vietnam, to stay in business. But making their goods over there cost them big in taxes, shipping, and perhaps the biggest loss of all, the Made in Korea label.
The tag adds a lot to the value of the goods, most of which are sold on the South Korean market. And those who did business at Kaesong agree, there's nowhere quite like it in the world.
The closure meant the loss of some 56,000 skilled North Korean workers. When we were running our factory there, distribution took just a few hours. But now, shipments to Vietnam take 2 weeks, and managing employees requires a translator.
The unexpected closure gave them no time to properly prepare for relocation.
갑자기 철수하는 바람에 그래서 이게 좀 납품도 하지 못하고 그냥 이렇게 재고로 남아 있는 상태입니다.
The companies left behind not only a mountain of inventory, but appliances, machines, and the North Korean workers, with whom they had built a bond.
처음에는 돈 벌러 갔습니다.
Initially, I went to the complex just to make money, but once I started working, a sense of duty started to grow in me. It wasn't just about profit anymore, but providing decent meals for the workers from the north, sharing snacks with them and having that connection.
Although the new administration in Seoul has pledged to push for reopening Kaesong, many obstacles lie ahead. The regime's non-stop provocations since last year, and the international community turning sharply against it, to name a few.
The United Nations strengthened sanctions against the regime, and its restrictions make it nearly impossible for South Korea to provide financial compensation for the North Korean workers. Besides, unless Pyongyang discontinues its provocations, the world isn't going to be ready to accept Seoul's initiative.
It may be a long road to normalizing operations at the KIC, but with the complex having stayed frozen for over a year, change could be in the works.
Through documentation, the previous administration verified some $700 million in losses from closing the KIC, but only 65% of that was paid out. The businesses need to be properly compensated for the damage. Also, we need permits to visit the complex, so we can check up on the facilities and bring back things that were left there.
For a start, talks are now taking place among public officials and civic groups to help the affected businesses stay afloat until the idea of reopening the KIC gains more traction.
Reopening the KIC goes in line with the job expansion policy of Seoul's current administration. South Korea can benefit a lot economically from that, while it can also provide a chance for the North to learn what capitalism is about. For that, arguments need to be prepared to convince the world of the idea of separating Korea's economic policies from politics.
The new administration in Seoul has only been in place for around a month, but many people are counting on the pledges made months before. And keeping those pledges would seem to require consultations between the two Koreas at the highest levels, not just for immediate damage control, but also for the long-term goal of having personnel from the South and North working side by side again. Lee Un-shin, Arirang News.